What's a red flag when looking for a job? Making jokes about overtime and crunch time. Guaranteed it's going to be a nights and weekends are optional, but not actually optional, place. I went to an interview where the guy said we don't end the day until everyone is done. And sometimes that takes another hour on a busy day. Then my genius brain said, yeah, I don't want to work constant overtime. What was I thinking, expecting to go home when my contract says I go home? In reality, maybe an hour overtime can easily turn into 2 hours overtime every day. Having to pretend this is normal is toxic AF. When I was a GM for Chipotle, I would constantly work 12+ hour days, salary. And one busy weekend I worked 15 hours on Friday and 15 on Saturday. And on Sunday I decided to go to the gas station and eat my donuts in my car and just listen to the radio for like 10 extra minutes to just kind of unwind. You better believe the area manager was there the next day with a write-up in hand because I was 10 minutes late on Sunday. But when I asked what about the other 10 extra hours I put into my store the previous days, that's just part of the job description. If you ask them what the pay is, and they start off with what you could be making after so much time and they start rambling about the raise process, run the other way. Oh. With the added bonus from the events you throw, you will easily earn the 1100 euros you asked for 2 months later. I paid the taxes on you according to the minimum wages, there is no other way. But we are giving you 250 euros for May as that is all we can afford this month. There would have had to be 2000 euros worth of events in a small sewing studio on top of my contractual salary to earn what we discussed at the interview. There were so many red flags, but I thought I had found my dream job. So I looked past them. Initially unpaid, but will result in full-time offer upon completion of this. This will be an excellent chance to expand your portfolio and gain lots of exposure with leading global brands. Graphic designer here. My favorite response to this: you can die from exposure. Apostrophe. Hiring lots of people on the same position. Everyone who calls gets a job often means the job is either bullshit or they're setting you all up to compete for the actual job. I had this once. Turned out it was commission only. Door-to-door vacuum sales. I did that for a month. My breaking point was when I was told I couldn't carry any water with me in what is essentially desert climate in middle of summer. Was told to request a glass of water from random strangers. Same if I needed to use the bathroom. I wound up so parched I was risking real dehydration and the other salespeople had the nerve to drink all my water. Oh. And I sold a grand total of 3 vacuums. I actually has 5 sales. But I quit on a Friday and by Monday they claimed my last 2 sales were cancelled and I now owed them something like $150 for accessories. Convinced them to zero out my entire account and just close it. That can't be legal. Specifically limiting somebody's access to water? This was a red flag I had during an interview process once. I was doing a phone interview for an ID position and the person I was interviewing with basically changed the details of the job during the interview. Instead of the first shift hours the position promised, he immediately went into saying it would be 6+ months before the opportunity for first shift would even be a possibility. Also, he was begin to asking how dedicated I was to jobs. The idea of weekend shifts, again, not in the original description, kept coming up, and how everyone had to be a team player and help out on weekends when needed. The kicker was when he started talking about how many hours he worked. He was bragging that he was up at 6 AM every day working. Then he'd go into the office for the day, come home to see his family for dinner, and get right back to work until 10 to 11 PM every night. I had never been turned off from a job faster in my life. He asked me to think things over and he'd send me some paperwork via email. Needless to say, I called him the next morning and declined the job. It was the worst interview process I'd ever been in. I'm in it as well. Some of the interviews I had before landing my current job were very similar. Had one interview where the manager belittled one of the techs just before he walked into the room. Probably didn't realize the door was open, lol. I'm really lucky though, since my current position is awesome. I work with some really friendly people. It's a small company and that's what I prefer. I just got a job in a small, friendly company too. They gave me the whole "we're a family" line in the interview. which normally makes me throw up in my mouth a little. But it came across as genuine for once. I took the role on gut feel and it's great. People listen to me. It's too small a company to ignore anyone. People are valued as individuals rather than being expected to fit a standard employee template, which in it tends to be young, quiet and bearded, none of which I am. And they are appreciative when you get things done, rather than nitpicking as an excuse not to reward you. The latter is especially annoying when you don't care about money or promotion, but just want a bit of respect. Earning potential is stressed over current salary. In 5 years you can be making X cool. Add that to my offer as guaranteed, and we have a deal. Well, it's not guaranteed or gotcha. So what you're saying is that statement holds no value. You know, while you're working here, there's an opportunity to work hundreds of millions of dollars if you play the lottery. Manager who doesn't really interview you, or who doesn't take the interview seriously. They are on their phone the whole time. Don't ask any questions. Are too casual. When they do this most of the time it means they will hiring anyone showing up to the interview. Or it means they're promoting someone internally and you got screwed by being the rando external candidate from having to post the job. When they should talk previous employees, they're going to do it to you. Same goes for them insulting current employees behind their back. I saw that during my orientation. 2 supervisors were loudly talking about how useless an employee was after they got off the phone with him. Even if it's true, the fact that they don't care who hears them is a sign of a toxic work environment. Typical behavior of managers who like to deflect blame for their own mistakes onto employees. Basically a symptom of a terrible boss. If the job description has about 20 items, of which one is sales, your job is going to be sales. Similarly, other duties as needed can translate to sales. Happened to me in a job that I was doing digital marketing for. They wanted me to do sales related tasks as well. I said that's not my job. They pointed out that line in my job description and said I need to improve my attitude and do it or give them notice of my departure. I told them thanks, I'll be gone in 30 days, and mentioned if they want sales to be done then hire someone for the role. That is not what I signed up for, nor want to do. They were surprised, and within a month after I left they hired a director of sales. They didn't have one previously. Super high turnover rate there too. The terrible part of not having defined roles and departments in a company is when one job overlaps, i.e. sales with customer service, or marketing with sales. Then the managers usually expect you to meet your marks on one end, while being able to do the other job just as well. You made a good choice. Hope you are doing much better now. Looking for rock stars in the job description. Unless of course the posting is in fact for a position to be a rock star. Similarly, ads that read along the lines of, do you like sports? Come be a part of our team. We are laid back and have fun. We want all of our MVPs to succeed. So we work hard. And we play hard too. If they are trying to sell you on the work environment in the ad, most of the time, you should run. I'm sure there are exceptions, but most of the time, you can substitute rock stars and sports and MVPs in all these ads interchangeably, with all of it loosely translating to, we are gonna load a bunch of you up in a van at the but crack of dawn to drop in neighborhoods for door-to-door cold calls selling cutlery. This needs to be further up. A good job doesn't get all flashy. They don't need to convince you. They know what you want. You're thirsty for a good job. They've got it. There's a confidence to a good job you can vibe when they are desperately telling you why you want to work there. Either you're overqualified for the position by a long shot, or the position is dog shit, and either way you're not getting paid enough. High staff turnover. An employer who treats you like they are doing you a favor. With good servant leadership it should be the other way around. An unclear job description, or a job description that includes too many duties, not being offered the opportunity to see the working areas or talk to people who would be your peers. Just generally trying to feel out whether or not they have things under control or not. I don't want to walk into a shit show. Finding good servant leadership is so freaking difficult because A, they're rare, B. They already have a loyal team that will be reluctant to leave. Or C. They do so well they keep moving up. When you find a good leader that you respect and get decent comp/benefits/work-life balance, cherish it. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.